For example, this is actually a live example of one of the projects that I worked on. I don't want to actually name it because it's confidential. I don't want to give out the client's confidentiality and other things, but I would just like to bring it to you. This was done about a good 8 years ago. I mean, this was done using Excel spreadsheet, as you would have seen. Using Excel, using simple things. I mean, you can do prioritization on the back of a card. You can do it with Excel, with Word, with just on a piece of paper. You can write, you can do that. So it would help you to kind of understand that there's something called the requirement ID, and you've got some theme here. It could be site, it could be admin, it could be content. And then here you're actually trying to specify the role: facilities manager, user, GC user, blah, blah, regional manager. And then you can say, as a user, I should be able to enter the details of the new site, so I get the benefit. So I can add new sites to be maintained. I can activate the newly added site so that I can make it important to be maintained, right? So here, this is the benefit column. So you should read this whole thing in like a user story. As a GC user, I would like to view the newly updated site so that I can verify the site's details. So here, site is actually kind of not a website or a web application. The site here is basically like a physical property, like a store, like a Tesco's, like a Walmart, like some of these big stores. And a train station, for example, is a site. So a bus station, a train station, a hospital that needs maintenance in terms of cleaning up the stuff or anything like that. So this is what is the site here, just for your understanding. And then we have a description or note as to what that is. And then we have what I did then back in those days was actually kind of had this concept of twin prioritization, important from the context of the business, and urgency in terms of, again, the business, but also technical feasibility as well. So I've given the importance in terms of Moscow, and then the urgency in terms of ABC prioritization. So again, we'll talk about each of these in greater detail later, but just wanted to bring in the aspect of how we do the prioritization within software. And again, there's another one, or maybe I think there's another example of that, but what we do again is kind of give the priority in terms of 1, 2, 3s, a different project, but with the same client. So here we've used a different format, different way of doing things. And then we actually have the prioritization here in the form of 1, 2, and 3. 1 being very, very important, very urgent, and 2 being medium, and 3 being not so urgent. So you can have a different way of prioritization of things. You can actually kind of, this is a user story. As a facilities manager, I should be able to mark site as inactive so that I can manage it, manage all the inactive sites later. I can take them off the list. And then you can actually assign the priority to that in the form of like 1s, 2s. This snapshot, you can actually see it's all 2s, but then the other, it's actually a huge list. You're only seeing about 63 items, but there are about 2,300 such stories in that project. So you can imagine how important and how handy this kind of prioritization really helps. To be able to manage out of 2,300 items, you should be able to actually pull out, let's say, 10 items every sprint and do that. So again, that's the reason why I'm saying that it's very, very vital that you do prioritization continuously. It's not just done once in the beginning of the project. No, with Agile and with all these things coming, the Agile development, it's all about continuous development, continuous integration, continuous delivery. So you do it every often. You do pretty much almost every day as a product manager. But once you have the items, let's say from 46 through to 52, if you've got these items in the sprint, in the next sprint, that is sprint, let's say sprint 22 is the next sprint starting the Monday, the next week for 2 weeks, then these items would be locked. They should not be changed. So they are kind of locked for changes. Nobody can change them except the team in terms of how they want to actually move them up or down. So the product manager should not come into this 46 through 52 and change those, but then he or she can work on the other rest of the items in the backlog. They can actually move them up or down. They can actually push them to the next sprint, the following sprint, or whatever it is. That depends on their prioritization. But once you push these 46 through to 52 into the sprint plan, then that's locked, that's frozen. They should not touch, they should not move. But then the development team could actually have a go at these 7 items, and then they can actually say which one they need to work on first and next. Or sometimes they actually want to split that story into some sub stories, or create epic out of them, join 2 3 and merge them. So those are the decisions which the team can take. So we're going to discuss those in detail in the later part of the presentation, but you understand where we're going through, right? So we are really talking about prioritization as a continuous activity done pretty much by everyone in the team. It's not just the analyst or the product owner or the business, but even the development team, they prioritize pretty much every